Essential.
Okay, I'd like to call the June 19th, 2025 Safety Committee meeting to order at I'd first like to acknowledge, make a land acknowledgement statement that we acknowledge that we're gathering together today on the ancestral homelands of the Coast Salish peoples, and that Sudden Valley Community Association stands against racism of all colors. Our full land acknowledgement and anti-racism statements can be found on the website. Okay, so attendance, so I have myself, Tom, Debbie, and Ted. Daniel may be working out of state.
Here comes Judy.
And good. So I'm just going to make a note myself here. I can erase it. Okay, and Judy is just coming in out of the parking lot. So and we'll go ahead and adopt the agenda. Anything we need to add to the agenda that we need to discuss? So we're going to talk about the Go-bag event coming up. We'll get an update from Ted on this water safety flotation devices. I think Tom has some information if Kolleen doesn't come on radar, speed kind of issues. And then we'll get an update on the...
Matt Klein was unable to attend.
Oh.
That was the day of the bee spill.
Oh.
And,
So did it get canceled?
Debbie and Judy and myself.
Yeah.
And as well as Michael Bennett. But he couldn't make it.
An
emergency.
Yeah. Yeah, what was that? It was like 250,000 or million.
If you watch
bees or
CNN, it
something?
was 14 million, but Mitch was sitting right next to me, he said, no, it was 250 something.
Wow.
A lot of bees.
Yeah. Okay, so you will be able to update us on what the discussion was, and then we'll have a short conversation about starting to work on developing a proposal for, if not a bylaws amendment, at least having a more ongoing permanent safety committee. Okay, so no other additions to the agenda? Anybody? Okay, so.
Move that they be approved as presented.
Okay, so we have a motion to adopt the agenda. So that Matt wasn't there. Okay. With that, acknowledge changed. Hey, and Colleen's here. Great. Super.
Yeah. So you can sit here.
Okay, all in favor of adopting the agenda as modified?
I'll second it.
Okay. Okay. Opposed? Okay, so we've adopted the agenda as noted. Next will be approving the minutes from our last meeting. I'm sorry I didn't get that in the agenda. It's posted as let's see. So the draft minutes. We had Debbie and Kolleen that were absent at that meeting. But, and I'll say again, I really appreciate how well Debbie does recording our minutes for us, as I got a chance to do that myself last time. So apologies if they're not quite up to snuff, but.
Thank you, I appreciate the comment.
Yeah, I appreciate it as well. You do a great job, Debbie.
Yeah, so thank you to Debbie again. So any additions or corrections you see in my attempt to summarize the meeting? Okay, so hearing.
Motion to adopt the minutes from May 15th.
All right,
Second.
great. All in favor of adopting the minutes?
Aye.
And opposed? Okay, so that's unanimous. Great. Back to okay. Let's see here. Okay, so first up is update on the big event coming up Monday.
On Monday.
Did you get a chance to see the signs?
Yes,
Max,
that's great.
Max did a great job
Yeah.
putting those in a font
Yeah,
that's got all the basic information. So date, time, place. So
yeah,
that was a good idea that we discussed.
Yes, it was.
After the last one, to have that. I can't remember who came up with that, but I'm happy that it's looking like it is. I just stopped at the office and they are making arrangements to get our gift card for us for that event. So we need to have a sign-up sheet, right, that we're gonna have at the event. And then we give them a raffle ticket after they sign up, right? And then that goes in the drawing.
okay, we're doing the sign-up sheet in order to do the raffle?
I
Yeah,
had to get a raffle ticket.
Yeah,
Is that the prize, a gift card?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's
okay,
and then, let's see, so we're set up, supposed to be having a couple tables set up, a couple microphones, podium, popcorn, the beverages that we had left over from last time. So I think we're looking good.
are we gonna do anything, thank you, are we gonna do anything different with the questions in terms of using a microphone at the podium and have people line up to ask, or do we
So-
wanna have them repeat the question like we did last time?
Well, what do you think? I asked Tom, when we were setting up our committees on the board, we were setting them up kind of as having co-chairs, but then, I can't remember, I think it was Keith, he said, well, no, we need to have a chair and a vice chair. And I said, okay, well, I'm considering Tom a co-chair, so I've asked him to MC the meeting
Yeah.
this time.
Oh, great,
And so, so maybe we can try to, I don't know, I think lining up is better. It saves time and you don't have to repeat it.
I'm thinking what is even better if we're gonna have two microphones with spare batteries, and I'm more than willing to volunteer to walk around and hand members.
it's
the
slow and bulky. You know, we did that a year ago and it was really unappealing, I think, because you had to kind of crawl over people and,
It's okay, I'm a good crawler.
yeah, well,
So
I'd rather not do it that way.
so the other issue is, maybe some people are more comfortable asking the question sitting in their seat than having to get up and walk through.
Right,
getting
there's that
out. If it's
too.
crowded, you have to walk across to the aisle, and then up to the top. So there's
I
give
know,
and
it's a
take both
dilemma.
ways, I don't know what the best.
Let's ask Spencer, you've got experience with this, what do you think works better, podium or a roving mic?
So this is for the Q&A. After the presentation, people have questions. Do you think it works better to have them queue up at the podium, come up, make a line, ask their question, then the presenter doesn't have to repeat, or have somebody with the other free mic walk out to the questioner and,
We have 2 free mics, so you
Yeah.
can put one of them on a podium for people to line up and talk into,
Yeah.
and the person asking questions can just stand there with the other one.
yeah,
Now, it could be a last minute decision depending on attendance. People
Yeah.
at the chair set up,
Yeah.
it may not be practical to have a roving mic.
yeah.
Well, I'll let you all sort it out, like whatever feels right.
And that's the beauty of having wireless mics, right?
Yeah.
Just move them.
You have the flexibility that way.
Yeah, the problem is that if they're asking a question.
No, that's right, no. Get them to a mic.
Yeah, so maybe podium questions are the better way to go.
Is it possible to have a second podium in the middle?
That's not a bad idea.
We don't have a second podium, but we could figure
Put
something
down a
out.
table,
Yeah, we can definitely figure something out.
so people will go to the closest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. In center aisle?
Could do that, so actually, you could position yourself in the center and hold the
Sure.
microphone, and people could queue up to you, or if they're closer to the front.
And be sure that we remind them to speak into the mic.
Yeah,
So
right,
there's,
They
there's,
do it consistently.
yeah, and there's people on Zoom trying to hear everything,
Right.
and they're gonna be very
Right.
frustrated if they can't hear what's going on.
yeah,
Yeah,
Well, the mic is going to a loudspeaker, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
And then just a quick question for all the committee members, since I'm emceeing. Would you object to me prefacing the meeting with,
no, I think that's a great idea.
fine with me?
Yeah,
Sure.
It ends up being, at some point, always, like at the end, somebody will be commenting on things that we're already working on,
yeah,
right? Or
Yeah.
saying, we need to do this, and we're like, you
Yeah.
know, we kind of already do, so I think that will head that off, right?
yeah, it's like Colleen's working on traffic safety, and
Yeah.
Ted's working on life system
Yeah.
safety. This woman here is just an incredible
Yeah,
energizer.
yeah. And then we got our evacuation thing too.
No,
Meet
And,
with them.
and the ham radio thing too.
and Marie,
Yes.
So,
I would like to add one more thing about the Monday event. Someone named Libby Feller, who you may know, got in touch with me, and she said she was a member of the previous emergency in 2019, a go-bag. And me like boxes of stuff.
Oh,
And I
my.
went through it and sorted through it. A couple of things. One is they actually provided, you might remember Mike D'Angelo. He was a very generous board member back then. Giveaway at the event, and one thing they provided to anybody who was there was a red backpack,
Wow.
empty. And so she gave me about 12 of these. And they also gave out a bunch of these tote bags. She gave me about 14, they're all brand new. And then she gave me, how many do I have? 8 of these starter bags with a list of what's inside.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just passed around so you can see them. So she gave me 8, plus there's a bag of extra bits and 12 masks. And
This
maybe
is
instead of one
great.
raffle prize, we have.
Yeah,
yeah,
oh my word.
yeah, so I'm gonna pass this
Absolutely.
That's
around.
outstanding.
And I was thinking, anybody who wants them would get
Yeah.
this, not as a raffle, but
Put them
just,
at the,
whoever just have them out there. But these two are cool for
Yeah,
having. The other thing that she was like an agenda available.
yeah.
And here it is, I'm gonna pass it around so you can all see what they did.
Yeah, you mailed
I
that,
don't know for
right?
sure if they passed it
You
out.
mailed it to us.
Yeah.
Did they? Okay.
I saw,
Well,
I was planning on using part of that.
okay, well, if you all have it, I'll pass it around so everybody can see it. And then she also had, not not sure I like this survey.
No, but a survey.
Yeah, a
We
survey.
can make our own
So I'm gonna
survey,
pass this
but we're
around
not
so everybody can get
sure.
ideas, so we can, sort
Yeah.
that out. And this was all on Monday, so I'm really like,
Yeah, that was-
last minute
That was
here.
also in the
Actually,
email.
does he give anything out after the presentation?
Is what?
Does Greg distribute anything for the audience?
I don't think he gives like go-bag supplies, but he's going to be bringing tables for display and handouts. And I have no idea what they are. And I also have half a box of stuff from 2019 that may or may not be out of date. And put them out if what he isn't putting out isn't that, but I think he'll have the latest, greatest. But I don't know, I haven't seen it.
He is
So,
thorough. Whatever he has access to, he will be bringing. I've seen his
Yeah.
presentation.
that would be my sense, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just gonna flow whatever he's got going on for
That'd be-
handouts. And then I'll do always the red Firewise one we always give out. I'll have a stack of those and some display of some of the stuff I showed last time.
Yeah.
And, but a separate table from that. And so those of you who were thinking in terms of a survey, I mean, adding the raffle stuff is a piece of cake, but adding a survey, adding a agenda, maybe one of you want to take that on and
So
just
we
do
just
it.
have these survey sheets.
I think so.
So I think trying to make sure we get surveys returned is,
Yeah,
in order to get your raffle ticket, you've got to sign up and you've got to fill out a survey.
That's right. And here's the box. Stick it
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
Yeah, while you're here.
I'm expecting this to be a very well-attended event.
oh, I hope so.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You get something for free. people
Can we
come.
hash
Well-
out the
But-
survey questions while we're here today, just real quick?
But I'm thinking if you have a sign-in sheet right there that you have to fill out before you get a raffle ticket, might be asking a little bit much.
Well, let's see, I think,
It's not that.
yeah, you can't do the survey until the end. So it would just be sign up, sign in and get a raffle.
Yeah.
Maybe put a survey sheet on everybody's seat.
Yeah, we could,
That I think is a good
We
way.
could hand it to them.
yeah.
Can we leave
Yeah.
pens out, so in case they're sitting there and they wanna just do it while they're there, and we have something to put them in if they feel like doing it while they're there? Just a
You have
receptacle?
that
I don't know, we have that.
supply of pens.
And so,
Oh my god, you guys, I will
Probably
go
some.
to the dollar store, like,
well, there's probably a box somewhere. I mean, you put one in, a couple on each row or whatever, they could share them, I'm sure. I mean,
are we talking like 50 people?
well, we don't know.
I mean, do you think like,
We
I mean, if
had-
I
we
get
had-
50
I'm
pens?
hoping
We had
for at least
almost-
100.
We had almost 50 last time, and I think this
Yeah.
one's gonna have.
I would
as
hope
big or
so,
more
but
of a draw.
I just don't know.
I'm thinking this one's gonna be well attended.
Well, with what Norm posted this morning, I think that's gonna catch a lot of people's attention about the long-range weather forecast. If you
Yeah.
haven't seen it,
Oh, yeah.
hotter and drier.
That was another thing you
than normal.
shared, where there was
Yeah,
that
we're-
newspaper
We're
article
already in a
about,
drought situation.
yeah,
Yeah, things are getting pretty crispy out there.
yeah.
They mowed down at the marina the other day, and it's like a drying hay field.
Already ready to burn.
Yes,
Can I confirm that our burn ban is Sudden Valley specific? Because
No.
it's not following the county.
no, it does follow the county.
It's higher than the county.
We're more restrictive.
As far as
Yes.
burning goes.
Thank
yeah.
goodness.
Our burn ban is
Restricted.
above and beyond what
It's
the
more
county's
restricted,
asking right
yes.
now.
Because county signs say campfire's okay.
Yeah, the county does,
Okay, yeah, that's right, we don't do that.
and we don't do that.
We only allow.
I just wanted to
barbecues.
clarify because I'm talking to
Only
residents, they're
gas.
like, we go by the county always, and I'm like, no, this is beyond what the,
That's the problem with Facebook is people put out their own opinions of what they think the Sun Valley
but
restrictions
I think for
are.
like the past however many years this has existed, people look, because Sudden Valley Association used to defer solely
yeah,
to the
I'm sure.
county rules,
Yeah.
right? So they're used to just going and seeing whatever that is, which is that like our own burn ban is a Sudden Valley specific burn ban that goes above and beyond what
Restricted.
level 1 is, yeah,
Yeah.
for a reason, and we're allowed to do that.
Yeah,
Like-
town rules,
Yeah, maybe that's
we can
something I
be
mentioned
more
up front as
restrictive
well.
than the county,
Yeah.
we can't be
Yeah.
less.
That would be great to mention, like, just so you know, just to
Yes.
clarify,
Yes.
Yeah, that would be, maybe even a little,
like, yes, that's awesome.
I just, in case I don't mention it at the end, I will be arriving at about 7. I have a retirement party to go to, so I'll get there as soon as I can. What?
Unforgivable.
So no minutes at this.
So I will bring the sign-up sheet, and I'll bring all these things, and how many do we want to keep back of the items, the starter bags? We've got 8, I'm thinking we should probably hold back 2 to show in
Oh,
the
I see.
future. And maybe give out 6, would that
6
be?
plus the gift card.
yeah, so,
Give
That
6,
makes it more rewarding.
and then
yeah,
but that's just of the little packs.
Yeah.
Where'd they go? I don't know where it went. 6 of those, and then give out how many, we've got red backpacks, maybe keep 2 and give out the rest,
sure.
okay? And the green bags, I think we can give them all out, we'll just put them out there and say, keep 2, okay.
So, shall we raffle the red bags too?
Sure,
I think might as well.
Well, I thought we were
Well-
already handing out little bags.
well, we don't have enough, I mean.
No, we don't have-
We have no idea how many we
We're
would
gonna
need in there.
raffle like 6 of them.
It's, I think, too late to order.
Yeah,
So you have 6 starter bags?
We have, I currently have, I think, 12. I'm losing count, but losing, I think I had
Oh, the
12 red
backpacks.
backpacks and 8 of the starter bags. Where'd they go? Didn't I pass
Kolleen
them
had
out?
them.
I did not. Here,
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, please.
yeah.
So
So I
6 of
got,
these?
I got 8 of these now, and I got 12 of the red backpacks. So I think we should keep 2 of each.
Yeah, I thought that by attending the event, you automatically got a go bag.
I haven't spoken, I don't know, I haven't talked to them.
So just in case. So is that okay? I'll just do it that way.
Well, I guess we need some clarification on whether they are bringing these or not. And where these came from, what I don't know is who's coming, what they are bringing, if anything, other than
I
information.
could have sworn I read some.
I didn't see
I
that.
don't know.
Along with instructions on what to put in.
Really?
Right.
I remember
Check with
the
Freddie.
instructions on what to put in it is what I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
That's what I think they will be bringing, that information, but not actual stuff, except maybe
So-
they'll have a sample of a complete one.
Yes,
And
that,
then this came
that's-
from our board and was,
so I think what I'd like to do is put an announcement in the e-blast saying, this is coming up Monday, there'll be a drawing for some. And we don't know how many.
Call it a
I won't
starter
say how
kit.
many.
red backpack.
Yeah,
Maybe make it as easy as possible and put 6 of those in bags and just raffle those.
If somebody wins a raffle for a kit and they've already got one and they don't want it, we
so
could just
they
say,
could have a gift card.
Yeah.
I would say, let them choose, and then of course, once the one gift card's gone, they won't be able to choose, but.
yeah,
Yeah, no, okay. Do we want to do 16 raffles, or, in other words, 10 bags and 6 bags, kits, I guess, or do or 4 red bags?
however, the more people that get stuff, the better.
that's
It's a lot.
a lot for people to sort of sit through. And when are we
So,
gonna do that?
yeah,
It's gonna be.
You like my
done.
song?
We can go pretty,
Did you just touch the post I did?
You know what?
That was the song that I just put on the post for the event.
Yeah, I was looking for what we're
I
at.
think you just touched it.
okay, well, I think what you all said, yeah, getting these with the red backpack as long as these pulled out, and then having 4 more, just a red backpack, that makes sense, yeah.
Okay.
I like that. And the green totes, we won't even raffle, it'll just be on the table, you're welcome to them.
Yeah, when they're going
Yeah.
along, then
Okay. That sounds good. So we can, who wants to help Tom, or who's gonna, we'll have to have somebody draw the tickets.
I was just gonna
Pick it
pick a
up.
kid from the audience.
Okay, perfect. And then just need to have those, or I guess we just have them at the table and have somebody, have the winners take their ticket back to the table and pick it up.
We've got going is a free workshop on go-bags.
Yeah,
And, you know, had I known we weren't gonna put these out for free, anyway, these aren't very expensive. I would
Yeah.
ask for a budget line item to buy them. And hand out a bag for free. Too late now, but
Yeah.
maybe for next time.
yeah.
Yeah, we're giving information for the most part. Did they, when Greg did this in like 2019, did he give out
I don't know.
stuff? Do you know?
Do you wanna email him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought you said that the board did these,
Yeah, the board did that,
so
so,
this was from,
Probably not.
so I don't know if he came with other stuff, I don't know.
yeah. Anyway, I think that's great.
Yeah.
It'll add to, and.
And I do have lists of recommended things, I've got like 8 different lists, so that's part of the problem, I'm assuming you'll bring
So,
one.
hopefully he'll bring one over.
Yeah.
Yeah, not get confused. So,
Amy recently wrote an article that's on the website that she posted, and it includes her recommendations for content. So maybe we could put that article on the safety committee's website.
shall we wait to see what
Yeah,
is
let's just-
presented and then maybe put them both up? Or they may be the same. but,
Maybe you say,
Yeah, you just don't know.
Yeah,
So do we actually have tickets? Is somebody bringing raffle tickets? You are,
the
okay,
rec is supposed to provide the tickets.
okay. And so we need a table really at the entrance.
Right.
Yeah.
Sign up table.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So maybe a third table, huh? I need to get. Well, we can do that. We usually go,
maybe a third table.
Spencer's, yeah.
Or,
Spencer's there early and.
yeah.
So I will, yeah.
Judy, will you message me like when you're headed down and I can help you unload stuff or whatever from your car? Stuff you're bringing?
Oh, well, the real lightweight.
Bring a trunk full of
But thank
things.
you.
Yeah.
is the rec staff gonna be doing the popcorn again?
They said they would. I asked them to, yes.
just one sort of note that just occurred to me, it's not really a raffle, it should be door prizes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's gonna be drawing for door
Door
prizes,
prizes.
not a raffle.
Well, one more comment of what Libby gave me. She was lovely, by the way. I had never met her before. That said, which I guess back in the day they used, she said what you could do is cut off committee and have a committee. We could just use that as an emergency preparedness banner in some way.
Yeah.
Did she give that to you or?
Yeah, I have it now.
So is that
I haven't unrolled
Paper
it
or
yet, but it's rolled up, it's
cloth
big,
or-
long.
paper or cloth or plastic? What's it
I
made
have
out
no
of?
It's
idea, I
usually
haven't opened it.
vinyl. It was like with the little ringlets.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's big, she said it's big,
Yeah,
so I'll, you want me to drop it off at your place, or who would like to have
so
custody of it?
where are we gonna hang it?
I don't know. But maybe say if we have a table at the fair in the summer, we might put it in front of the table or
Yeah.
something
Well,
like
you're
that.
gonna have a tent, so just I put up tents all the time. But that banner could go on the tent, right, above where people walk in. We're gonna have a 10 by 10 tent, right?
We're gonna have a table, I don't know if if it comes with a tent or not.
I will lend you a tent, I'm just saying, like, I've been to the fairs and they're,
Well, I hope we'll have some kind of a 10 by 10 cover
Yeah.
or something.
yeah,
I can bring one.
Yeah.
I have one.
you're gonna want one.
Lori and I did it last year, and we were trying to give away free brochures, and I think people thought we were trying to sell them something, and so they kind of dodged.
Oh, yeah.
Because they didn't know who we were and what we were
So
about.
that would be a really good indicator that we're up high enough on the,
Yeah.
on the tent.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
But he's got the asphalt. It's important. Keep the asphalt shut.
So he comes when the parking lot is full. Oh, I see, he's sleeping through there.
so you're talking about the July 26th. Valley Fair, yeah.
If we're gonna do that, we did it.
So the table. Kind of take shifts, so you don't.
For cars to show.
Oh.
So they have,
Well,
You want to be positioned, I work that day, so I cannot attend. But you can ask, I think it's Kyle in charge of it now. Who's in charge of it this year? Kyle and someone else. It used
it'll
to be
be
Morgan.
somebody in rec, yeah, Kyle or.
Yeah, I think it's Kyle. But where you want the
Cal.
table to be, like if you want a particularly visible spot, like by the entrance where everyone's going to the bathroom or, right? Like where you want to be, that might be like a talk to him now thing.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
Because he probably has a whole map of where everyone is already.
yeah, I'm not sure how far out there are.
they showed the cars last year. You know, the tent stable is pretty close. Right there on the lawn next to it, between.
Yeah, yeah,
We were near the back steps up to the barn.
yeah.
Oh, good, that's a good place.
I would actually
Everyone's
prefer
welcome.
along the path there, up front. We should get priority.
Yeah, that's what.
Well, we should, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
okay,
if you need me to bring a
Let's
canopy,
see.
let me know. Be happy to do that.
okay.
And then give it to somebody.
July 26th, is that a Saturday or a Sunday?
Saturday.
Probably Saturday. Seemed to be pretty well attended last year.
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of vendors too, right?
That's the attraction, it's the vendors.
I heard, I was over at Davolio maybe 4 weeks ago, and Cruz has some fancy horses that he trains.
Oh, he does, he's got some beautiful
That
horses.
dance to music or something.
Did you go to Memorial Day
He's gonna
Parade?
bring him,
They
he's
think
gonna
they
bring
Oh,
one
good.
of the horses. He's-
Yeah.
For part of the time at
I've
least.
seen pictures.
And he's also bringing a taco truck.
I want to see that.
Okay, so I'll check and see if they're providing a tent or not, and see about getting, I'm wondering if the committee tables will be all lined up though, I mean, because there'll be finance, there'll be long-range planning, there'll be safety, you know.
That would
We'll
be
probably see
smart.
a safety committee table with finance and.
They have tables too?
Yeah, it's mostly just to share information, if people have questions, you know, it's not like here. Yeah, I think we're gonna be there as well.
One last
So-
question, who would like to have custody of the banner? Anybody?
If it's for the Valley Fair, I'll take it
Okay,
and
I'll
modify
connect
it.
with you about getting it to you.
Okay.
Do you, so we don't need it for this event?
No, not for that.
No.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is gonna be great, okay. So what do you think, I think a short survey would be helpful to have. I
That one
think,
seems a bit intimidating.
yeah, so I think, maybe 4 or 5 questions at the most. Is it important to find out how they heard about it?
Yes.
Okay, so we can do that one. We're not having a registration. So there's 2 questions about that. Check-in, I guess we could do a check-in.
Let's check in
for
to
the
get a
raffle,
raffle ticket.
Yeah. Information, what did the information presented meet expectations, basically 1 to 10. I think that's a good one. Value of having emergency preparedness community teams represented here, but we don't really have teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my questions and concerns were addressed adequately during the event or the presentation. That's probably a good one. So, and then what area addressed was of most interest to you? I'd rather ask what other topics would you like?
Yes.
What
Yes, I
additional
think that,
information
I think
would you
that's
Yeah.
important.
So that's down to about 4
We're gonna
questions.
have an evacuation.
Well, we're working on that. That one may be next year though. I'm just guessing
That's what I'm
because,
thinking a lot of the comments are gonna be, how do I get out of here?
yeah. Okay, so I'll see if I can,
So
I'll
yeah,
get those 4 questions.
4 or 5 questions, and then at the bottom, comment lines, what you
Yeah.
want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, comments, and yeah, it says right there on the bottom, okay. So that, yeah, we got a copy of that in that email too, I think that you
Yes.
sent out, Judy,
There
so
was,
I'll see if I can get them to print up like 50 of them. We could probably do a half sheet, I think, with 4 questions, but
Yeah.
whatever, in the back for comments. Okay, let's see, evaluation. Or does somebody else want to do that? Okay. Okay, so the sign-in sheet, what are you gonna, you're gonna have columns for name? What do we want to find out? We want to have a name, email, phone number,
Name,
address?
email,
I mean, I'm asking,
I'm
Gate.
thinking name and address, I don't know about.
Gate might be
oh,
helpful.
gate would be good.
Yeah,
or just gate and address, or just gate?
just gate, I think.
I would say,
People are like me, if you put down your email address or your phone number, you're gonna get bugged. I never do that
Well-
information out.
but we want to be able to contact them.
And they,
Well,
they
contact
want you
us.
to, they're interested, they showed up, they wanna know, like, they wanna hear from us, and I think it's
Yeah,
a
but-
good audience.
Yeah, so we probably want an email rather than a phone number.
I prefer email to phone anytime.
Yeah,
If it has to be one or the other, go email.
Attended, but no.
so name, gate, email,
Okay,
keep it simple. I mean,
Yeah, keep it simple.
We don't want to be too long.
And then you get your,
And then the top line should be filled in with each of those, so it looks like they're not.
yeah, that's a good idea.
Mhm.
And I'll be there early so I can do that.
Yeah, good. Now, we could maybe have, so how many sheets we'll need? Maybe 3 or 4.
okay.
So we can each fill up the top line on one of each sheet. Okay, cool, that's great. I'm liking that, very good. All right, so,
You can keep these if you want.
okay. See, you want to keep that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Ted, you're up. Owner, Stan.
Okay, well, I met with Mike Brock and Mike Bennett on site, they approved the location. We went back and forth a little bit, we had some discussion about weighing the different possibilities. The best, and the whole foundation holes have been dug.
Oh.
They were done a little over a week ago.
Cool.
Thanks to the I guess to the GM and the association for footing the bill for the auger. And from what my understanding was that it was a real job.
Oh, all the rocks down there,
The
yeah.
rock, they said it took them way longer than what they thought it was going to bore those holes. And originally, the scout had suggested we use post hole diggers, and I looked at it and said, I don't think that's gonna work. And they were all concerned about, his parents were concerned, but we can't have like kids operating. I said, don't worry about it, the association's got that covered.
Yeah.
So foundation holes are done. If you wanna go see where it is, it's in the gravelly area that's between the ramp down to the little floating dock and the kayak racks. And they put some big traffic cones in the holes to make it so people don't step in them, so you can see where it's gonna be.
Yeah.
I have asked Jack, he's the scout, to confirm that those holes are deep enough for the timbers that we changed. See, we changed the specifications based on the discussions we had here. I think he was only using 4x4 posts, and we decided that 6x6s would be better. So the hole they're big holes. So, but I was curious about the depth. Now, one of the scout's parents is involved with, I think it's Strider Construction. It's one of the big construction companies, and he's acting as sort of their technical advisor. So I sent a note to Jack yesterday, I think it was, he needs to come out and confirm that those holes are deep enough for the size posts we're gonna be and the height of the thing. And I've not heard back yet, so as soon as I hear something, I'll email. And also ask Jack to confirm if because we changed the posts, because all of the other structure was dependent on the original set of plans, so.
What's the diameter of the holes?
You know what, I didn't measure, but I'd say they're probably about like,
Be 16-inch.
I'd say they're at least 16 inches, yeah, they're pretty big holes. My question is, it was depth.
Minimum 3 feet, 4 feet would be better.
It's probably more like 2.5. So that's why I want their construction person to take a look at it. There's been a little bit of delay in things because I delivered the paperwork that our general manager needed to sign for the scouts. Well, he got it, but the staff got it, he was out of town, and then they apparently couldn't find it on his day, even though they called him, they couldn't find it, so that got delayed by a week. But they've got the paperwork, so now what we're waiting on is that the scout district, the Eagle Scout coordinator has to approve, and now we're waiting for that approval to come in. Jack indicated to me in his last communication that he thought that would probably come in by next week. So, and then at that point, he said he's ready to start building.
Correct.
They're going to build off-site.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna bring it in and do final assembly here. My question, when I met with Jack and his parents, I said, we need to have this figured out, or, how things are gonna happen. They needed to know where they could get water for the cement to anchor the uprights. And no, I can't use lake water.
This thing's.
Somewhere along the line, I had heard that, but I'd forgotten that you can't use lake water because it's got biologicals in it. And it can adversely affect the strength of
There
the
are some
water.
water
There's gotta be a water
standards.
source for when they clean that building.
I'm getting they have taken care of that for us. Because Kyle was there and I told him that I didn't know if there was an outside water tap. or if it was functional, and I got word that that's been remedied, so we're fixed there. State Parks is, after promising they had everything in stock, got incredibly busy, and now they are short-stocked on life jackets. They have ordered more. I have not heard back about this because we've got life jackets.
There's a bunch of them in the.
We've got
shed,
stacks of them
Yeah,
Awesome.
down there, so whether, then we will get them eventually, I'm sure, but if we have to fill in.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've got some donor ones, and we'll get it taken care of, and we'll eventually get stuff from the state, so. Brandon said he would send as soon as they can, get them in, and I asked about the sign, when that would be delivered, because I know that Jack wants to put the sign on, but they're putting the
yeah,
thing up, and I have not heard back. I get the impression that probably because of cutbacks,
yeah.
I have a feeling Brandon's the only person in that office. I just get this sense, because it sounded like he was just completely avalanched with stuff. Okay, Jack's gonna start the construction, probably next week. So we're running behind schedule, but it will get done. And then I have sort of a question, do we wanna just put the thing up and say that it's open? Do we wanna have some sort of unveiling? What we'd like to do? And then related to that, I like to get some pictures. In fact, when they come down to do the assembly, I'm gonna be down there with camera in tow, well, phone in tow. And I'll take progress pictures and stuff.
Great.
And then I'd be more than happy to write an article for the Views, or would the Views
Yeah,
want to send a reporter down to write it?
they
We should be,
usually were providing content.
okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
When we did the flagpoles at the entrance to Gate 1, we
Mhm.
did have a formal flag raising with board members and pictures and stuff, so I think that would be a good idea.
It would be really good PR
yeah. If
for
we
the
can,
association,
Interviews.
the safety
if
committee.
we find out, if we find out when the,
You know, along with that, besides recognizing yourself and Ted at the meeting on Monday night, I want to recognize the Eagle Scout too.
Yes, that's a big part of why I want to get pictures, because I want him to get the publicity for this, and the local scout troop to get publicity for what they've had to involve with this and this sort of thing. There is gonna be a plaque, and they're going to provide it, so I've not seen anything, but with his name, and it was his Eagle Scout project. My understanding is that just down at the dog park this morning, I was gonna look, but I forgot, but I think there's a little plaque on the sign that the Eagle Scout did for the dog park.
Is there credit on the temperature, water temperature
No,
awareness?
no, there's nothing on that. That I see every time I'm down there teaching, because that's where we lay our paddles.
Can we
yeah,
have a
really.
token of appreciation from the association?
Yes, I would,
I mean, something that's
a
like,
certificate of some, yes.
well,
That
or
would be
like a gift card,
Yes.
or, right, donate to the troop, I don't know. Can we just make a little, I mean, I think they deserve a little bit of
I
something.
think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what's
that's
his name?
Jack,
so there was a Eagle Scout project last summer, that game box that's over in AM/PM Beach. And we should probably do something similar, the kids from the same troop. I don't know what that was, but I'll find out.
You say Emerson?
Anderson, I'll double check that just to make sure, pretty sure that's it.
Are they a nonprofit? I'm assuming they are, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm just saying, like, the association can make a donation to their, to them, right? I mean, they help us out, we wanna help them out kind of thing. Or the individual scout, whatever you
His
think.
troop number, and then, is this costing Sun Valley anything, or is this all
well,
separate?
we paid for the auger work,
Yeah.
Oh, we're paying for the supplies.
and we're paying for the supplies.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
yeah, so I don't know that we need to.
But that
get
came,
actual
and that,
recognition.
just That money ended up coming, we did not end up having to go to the board, well, even though it didn't have to go to the
Right.
board. That came out of the parent.
Yeah,
And he just said, this is simple, I'll just take it out of that.
And what troop is he with?
I don't know, I'll
Okay.
find out.
I don't know, like
it's
an
a big
Amazon
number,
card or
it's like
something.
5
Yeah, it
or
is.
something, I don't know, it's,
When I was a scout, it was troop 3, period.
I was troop 21, yeah.
Yeah, I think some sort of formal recognition from the association would be.
Yeah, I wanted to recognize him at the meeting, but
Yes. Well, why don't we recognize it when it's done?
Yeah. Yeah,
no, it was just kind of a continuation of what you're doing. You know, we've got this Eagle Scout that's carrying this as his Eagle project,
Okay.
and there was a formal recognition when it's dedicated.
Mm-hmm, yeah. But anyway, that's what I've got. We're
Oh,
stumbling along, but it's coming together. I've worked with volunteer groups and things for years and years and years, and I understand that
Yeah,
the schedule's just
it
never
never
go.
goes quite like you plan, but it gets done.
Yeah,
So
it'll get
that's the
done.
main
And
thing.
it's gonna, if it's built according to the schematics, it's gonna be really good looking. It'll be a nice piece of
Yeah, yeah.
structure down there.
yeah, I was looking
Yeah.
forward to this update.
So, yeah, I appreciate you're having to keep after them because they're kids.
So
and,
he's what, 16-year-old, 17?
Yeah, so, but it's a learning experience for them.
Yeah.
And it's a huge benefit for us, so it's a win-win in my mind. Great, yeah, thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes.
appreciate it. I'm sure a lot of residents don't know that they are required to have this on board, a flotation device that they're playing on.
You know what, I'm gonna say something. I'm down there several times a week usually teaching, so I'm out on the water a lot. And I have to say, I have seen more people actually wearing life jackets
I've
or
been,
having them with than I typically see.
Good.
Yeah.
It does seem to be getting out a little bit. Now, I still see people out there without, but my gut is telling me I'm seeing more people being equipped than I usually do.
that's my
That's
observation. I think-
encouraging.
Case.
Yeah, norms, a lot of norms posts are about hitting the cold water.
Yeah,
And
Well, the fire stations, up until, well, they just changed it, but
yeah. It's hot out, but
all the TV stations based in Seattle have been running stories. There was one just this last week where they really were emphasizing that we've already had, I think, 3 drownings in Washington,
wow.
and they were all related to
And
cold
the
water.
numbers up this year from previous years,
Wow.
yeah.
But nationally, it's a big issue nationally. I mean, coming from Colorado, we lose sometimes 10 people a year. Most of them are whitewater rafters.
More
Yeah.
higher mountains there, more snow.
Ouch.
Cold
Cold
water.
water, yeah.
A lot of lightning strikes in Colorado too.
They just had a couple of those. Just one guy lived and the other guy didn't.
I remember being on Pikes Peak a couple of times, hiking the trail and hearing the distant thunder and having to turn around and,
Yeah,
I was hiking up the
Down.
peak in the valley above the valley where I lived. And I was probably 150 vertical feet from the summit. It's almost 11,000 footer. And the clouds started rolling in. And it was probably still a quarter mile to the trail to the top, and you could hear the grumble. And it turned around and ran down the tree line.
yeah.
been there, done that many times.
Okay, let's see, so next up is our traffic. How are we doing there, Colleen?
so I wanna gather before I feel like I'm kind of just swimming upstream. Meaning like end of school year, still people passing paddles. I'm calling the school, I'm calling transportation tells me they're making a report, the report doesn't go anywhere. Right, like I actually called the school because I actually knew the person, and this was particularly egregious. like the buses stop, paddles out, kids are boarding, right? At gate 9, which already has speeding traffic down Lake Louise, right? And this person came toward gate 9 as the children are boarding, went into the oncoming of the bus, turning right, not stopping onto Lake Louise. This person was associated with the schools. I know who this person was.
Really?
And that was why it was particularly like bothersome, because I'm like, oh my God, you work for the school. Like,
Wow.
like, so I had a conversation with the school. I ended up calling the principal and having a discussion. And I'm like, I don't know where this person is. I know, right? And so we ended up finding them, and I let the school, I was like, I just feel like you guys need to have a discussion.
Yeah.
Right? And the bus driver confirmed. I said, I just want to confirm everything was out. You're, because I'm on the other side. And he said, yes, they definitely like. And so they reported, right? But the reports at the level of transportation, you talk to him, he's like, we hand these over, nothing happens. And I said, we were at the border. It was at the border of the county. Yeah. Right? So it's this huge gray area, and I just keep, my wheels are spinning, right?
So, yeah, I mean, we've been having some discussions at the board level as well about, and in long-range planning, and it's a challenge because we have our private roads, but now Lake Louise is not a private road, right? That's a
correct,
public
and
road.
if it happens at that junction,
Right,
what
it seems
can
like,
we do, right?
But what I was gonna say is that even in private roads, the county sheriff can cite for reckless driving, not speeding, reckless driving, where you're endangering humans.
Is that a felony?
I
Because
don't,
they.
I don't know, maybe. I don't know what the level is.
So misdemeanors are no. Felony level, yes.
It's a difference between just driving, but, which makes sense, but I don't, but there just aren't, I mean, although I was out, had to go down to Linwood Tuesday and Wednesday in Sudden Valley. One of them pulled somebody over. Yay.
Yeah.
So
But I don't know how often that happens. I mean, it's like random. They probably just move around, Speed signs coming from Alger up, right before you get to Lake Louise, it says your speed. Have you seen that speed sign now? It's like we were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big one, not a little one, like a Strawberry Point. It's huge, and it tells you how fast you're going. And it's got the speed limit there too.
Yeah, this isn't something I really ignored. I did contact a company that makes digital speed signs. The problem I'm having with these companies is they're pretty much all solar powered.
Yeah, that's right.
Which
All
can work,
yeah.
and, so I'm trying to find out if there are options for rechargeable,
Yeah,
lithium
Well,
powered.
if we're talking about the entrance of gate 2 here, there's ample sun, right? And we see the amount of solar homes on
Yeah.
their way out of here, right? Monstrosity that now has a sign on it, says Sudden Valley. You know what I'm talking about, the entrance of gate 2. It was just like a
Gate
big,
2, yeah.
it was like a big tombstone that didn't have anything on it for a while.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
But like right there, there's ample sun.
Yeah.
If we wanted to have something solar powered
yeah,
at
it's
that
the
point.
interior roads, because I would like to get 2 of these. Price wise, they're under $5,000
Yeah.
until you start adding on data loggers, which to me are really important because
Yeah.
we can move them around
Yeah.
and find out where the real speeding problems are. And then I would like to get a radar gun with photographic capabilities.
I think the data collection is first, because like if you talk to the county, this is gonna sound like it's going. We're looking to the county to like help us at those junctures, right? They want data. The data they have are police reports. Police reports are generally like accidents or people being pulled over. With lack of presence, we really don't have a lot of that data. However, I was talking to them, there's been enough accidents that we do have some foundation to stand on in terms of like asking for county monies and help.
That was my
At
next
the
stop,
junctures.
was going to the county and
Right.
talk. I don't know if you saw the one that they had on the sidewalks almost, or the green belt between the sidewalk and the street on Alabama. They had it going both directions for quite a while. It's a
Yeah.
real low boy machine. And what I about it was if somebody was speeding, red and blue lights started flashing.
Oh, it did.
Nice.
I haven't been able to find any that has photographic capabilities, which hence we
Seems
would
like you
need
could add
to
that.
put a
So,
security guard, trained security guard with a radar camera in the trouble spots.
Well, I think that if we start small, and I think that getting all that information is amazing, and that will be like a step process, but if we just had those alerts that you're speeding are very
Yeah.
effective,
Yes.
just the,
I think, so this is a large enough expense, it's not gonna be something that the GM,
No.
you know, is
No.
discretionary. So we need to write up a proposal, we need
Yeah.
to, we've been talking it to death, we need to write
Yeah.
something down
yeah,
and take it to the board and get it into the budget for next year. So we just need some numbers. And I think we need to have maybe a stepped plan, so
yeah,
two of these, move them around, identify some issues and all that, but with a plan to get a camera and recording or
The
whatever.
radar guns with
radar gun and all that stuff.
infrared and photographic capabilities run about $10,000.
okay, but before you even go there, just, where's the enforcement? Right?
Yeah, but-
Who is enforcing, what are we enforcing?
We're a private association. We can find anybody.
So I will just say that there is judicial precedent that happened in court cases in the past. You're welcome to look through the archives, but Sun Valley was sued. And there was some litigation, and the person said, you don't, and so this went to the state, so they were
So,
like,
but we can impose fines. You can't, but anyway,
I
that's,
am glad we
that's-
don't have to think about
that's
that, but we
step
have
two.
to,
Yeah, that's step two. I think we ought to get step one
gather
on the
information.
books, get some money going.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, as I got, and he's got quite a bit of extensive experience with the same problem in other associations he met.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he and I need to sit down, you know, because there are things that these trailers need to have legally.
Yeah,
and if you guys can establish just, like, if we can just get Gate 2 would be excellent, because as they're transitioning from Alger, they're flying.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's where that one is, there's one what is it, if it's called Lakeway or Cane
Yeah.
Lake Road or whatever it
Yeah.
is, but it's right before you get to Lake Louise.
Yeah.
Coming north. Big sign. You
Yeah.
can't
Right.
miss it.
And there are, like, so this would be the juncture, this would be what would get us into talking to the county, because we would have data. We'd say,
Yeah.
at this place, at this junction of the county in here, this, and we want you to participate.
Yeah, the reason I wanted to go to county was because I want to see if they would loan us some for a couple months.
So I'll tell you where the money is gonna come from. So we're gonna need to, this
Our
is,
tax dollars that we don't get.
I'm with you. However, the procedural the red tape of it all is, we need to talk to town, the county council,
Yeah.
right? And we are going to, and I've said it before, but I don't know if our committee could talk to the GM and say, we need someone on that council. And we used to be welcomed on that council, those meetings.
I believe that's being looked at.
Yeah.
Good,
So,
good.
Because
so
the funding's
anyway,
gonna come from there.
so will you'll follow up with Michael and figure out how big a proposal? I say we go for two.
That's my thought, we
And,
need at least two.
and we'll get some data,
Yeah.
or get some actually probably informal feedback of whether we notice speeding goes down as people become aware of how fast they're driving.
Well, but if we're logging that from the date it's been implemented, we'll see
Yeah, I
if there's
don't-
been a
Yeah,
decrease.
we won't have any information other than time of day and the speed.
That's fine.
No,
Our
that's
information.
great.
It's just, we will then know
Okay.
where to position
Yeah.
the radar gun.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a note here, and maybe Debbie will too, that you're gonna follow up with Michael.
Michael,
And
and I'm gonna go
And
over
the
to the
county.
county
Yeah.
and the city hall and talk to them. Since we don't get shit for our.
We have a
I should
council
say
rep, they just, like,
Yeah,
so you need
he
to,
was at a board meeting 2 meetings ago.
Yeah,
yeah,
And
so
so-
that person.
and there was some discussion about making two of the main roads on the other side, Sun Valley Drive, county roads.
Yeah,
And they would take over them, and then we could get
That's
some
great.
traffic enforcement there.
Yeah, yeah.
they're totally willing to come here as long as we
Oh, yeah.
sign
Yeah,
something
he
that
was
says
very
you can come
informative.
here.
Very helpful.
Yeah,
I just looked up the RCW on passing the school bus. All it is a $500 fine.
that's right, it's a slap on the wrist.
But it cannot be waived, but
Yeah.
it doesn't list as being, it's probably just a misdemeanor, but it doesn't even use that language, it says it's a fine.
That's my next hill to climb
You gotta
with the
Took their
legislator.
license.
The legis-
That would-
right, because like,
Exactly.
we need to
You
have
know,
stricter
it's a
laws.
misdemeanor until they hit a kid crossing
Yeah,
Right.
Oh,
in
yeah,
front of the
then it's
bus.
felony.
yeah, but this is
Felony
just if they
homicide.
catch you
Yeah, that's,
passing the school bus,
that's it,
then it's $500 fine, it cannot be waived, cannot be refunded.
yeah.
And, but
Let's
it
put it
doesn't,
in
it
there.
doesn't go on their record though,
It
So,
does go-
it
so,
does not.
Oh, no, man, especially from here. it would.
Don't like it.
change that.
is
$500
something, right?
fine.
And then knowing that the association is gathering, as we get these things implemented, we have these proposals, we get these things. The association's working on this is what's coming down the pipeline, there's going to be enforcement. We are watching, we are paying attention, we do care, right?
The
And
entire
those are the
board
big
is
things.
aware of it. Rick and I have both been talking about it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, so that was like the last week of school and I was just like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm talking to the right people, but without the association, it's
No, I
just
hear what
not
you're
going
saying.
anywhere. And so that's why I wanted, like, I think just getting some kind of the entrance of gate, because that's where people are speeding and they're, you know, we could gather information of like, this is where speeding's happening.
Putting that radar sign up there now, the one that's there.
Well, I know
You can
a
ask
few
the
years
county.
ago, the
I know,
guy
I
I was
know.
talking to,
So-
I don't have his name right offhand, I talked to him yesterday with the latest. Evidently, a few years ago, Norm Smith leased
Yes.
some signs
Right.
from him. Now, he told me he bought them, but he
Yeah.
didn't, he leased them.
Yeah,
But I'm wondering why we didn't pursue it at that time.
Norm Smith is who?
He used to be in charge of safety.
And security.
compliance, and
Yeah, and
he
security.
used to be the head
is-
security guy for
Great
like
guy.
15 years, after 24 years in the.
Yeah.
Merchant
Did a great
Marine.
job.
Also randomly. Yeah.
He kind of backed away because he felt like his efforts with the previous associations were not being valued, right?
Yeah,
And
he was on this committee.
I'm trying to
when I first came
re-engage him.
on,
Yeah.
And he was really fed up.
Yeah.
He said,
I
the
like
association's
him.
not
I like him a lot.
backing up this idea, and I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And he's not getting paid, but he's still very
He's still
small.
Very.
So, I know this isn't traffic, but it is safety committee. If I just can talk a little bit about the fire, the Firewise wildfire prevention meeting. I have followed up with a company that we used to be associated with as an association. We had a contract with Earthworks, who used to monitor our trees and, you know, problematic areas in Sun Valley regularly. Something happened, this was maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Do you guys remember Earthworks working with the association? Yes, okay. Anyway, they are well-versed in the latter. So I am going by what Chief Notes and DNR, what the whole presentation, do you remember that discussion?
Yeah,
Of the basic of 10 feet, but ideally 15 feet, Chief Notes, right? And then the 5 feet, 10 feet, like defensible space, right? This company is very savvy in those things. So they are coming to my house on Tuesday. I have purposefully left my problem areas. So we're gonna do a video, I'm gonna say,
Okay.
look at this tree, it's coming, it's on my roof, it's touching my house, right, there's a problem area. Here's this, and so we're gonna walk around my house.
So the
we're gonna-
tree's on your property?
It's on my property,
Yeah.
right, and the branch is, and there are some
Yeah.
trees that are not on my property, right, some green space,
So you need.
So branches,
Yeah.
we're just talking about branches, not cutting, so this is what I need to
Limbing.
understand is like, do we need permission to like just trim things that are coming
For limbing,
over?
yeah, it's-
Okay, so we can go there, but I'm just going to show the problem area.
Yeah,
And then there are other things on the website, like resources. So I thought we could set up a resource page of Firewise savvy companies who know what the guidelines are, follow them, and can be resource for the community. So I'm trying to like talk to different companies and say, are you willing to be a resource for our community to hire you, that you know what you're talking about, you understand these guidelines, and you can come out to our homes and help us make this happen, right?
Well, I'm thinking the first step needs to be contacting Firewise and having them come out and do their inspection. And then
They
taking-
provide a lot of that same information.
Yeah, it's the same. I'm saying, here's a company that's gonna do it for me, cause I
Yeah.
can't do it. Like, I know what I need to
No, you get
do.
their inspection first and then you hand their
Yeah.
list to Earthworks.
Great.
And say, what's this gonna cost me?
Yeah. So,
I was
great.
trying
So
to
we can give
remember
we can give a procedure of like, you can, here's where you can get your free evaluation. Here's a link, right? And then here's where you can get the actual service to implement that evaluation. And yes, so, because right now, I think people are just going blind if they're doing it at all. And I just wanted to show even my house, like I have these risk factors. I need to take care of them and it's a great time to do it, so I've left them. Anyway, just getting that information out there on social media, from my personal account, not representing the association. And yeah, so I'm working on that. And then the second part was, I wondered if the association can make a strong recommendation, again, based on that talk. Do you remember when he said, like, you don't want anything around your house that you would light a match and toss it and be concerned about? Do you remember that part?
Yeah,
Mulch.
yeah.
exactly.
Well, the mulch was
We
one
have
thing
people
discussed.
just
Right.
having mulch dumped and delivered, like, as we speak, right? They're
You got
just
like wood chips. and-
wood chips,
yeah.
and I'm just
Yeah.
like,
And we're providing them to a lot of people,
Yeah.
and we need to stop that.
Wood chips are a lot more dangerous, I think, than mulch, especially if you can keep the mulch.
when it's dry,
But-
mulch
yeah,
is turning
yeah.
right into a wood chip.
Yep,
It doesn't,
you got it.
Yeah.
right? So I guess I'm saying, I would like idea. I'm not trying to say ban, but I'm saying any new mulch application with a recommendation of removing
Yeah, I hear you.
existing mulch. That's
But then
because
same-
my neighbor, like, we're only as good, remember what he said? We're only as good as like
Yeah,
what's around us.
yeah.
And if the association is not making strong recommendations or saying, no, you can't put mulch, any new mulch is a no. Any existing mulch we recommend, right?
It's kind of
that
a
you remove it.
double-edged sword because putting mulch down prevents weeds from growing.
Yeah, dry grass is pretty flammable.
I mean-
So,
So,
yeah.
it's kind of a weird thing there, but I hear what you're saying, I've had the
Yeah.
same thought, especially with the chips.
Wood chips
I
are,
think wood chips should be banned.
yeah,
What I have heard, and I believe it's true, is from ACC, is that the county is saying with new construction and remodeling, they must put wood chips all the way to the house.
oh my God.
So, yeah,
Can we talk to the county?
I absolutely
Can
need
we-
to do that.
Yeah,
We should
That's
not be doing that.
hugely horrible.
yeah,
Yeah,
It's bad enough of what just falls out
Yeah.
of trees,
yeah.
nature-wise.
yeah.
Because
The
I have to constantly break that up
In
and try
the,
to get it away.
totally, and like, so based on that, like, what you guys, the board, the powers that be, the other thing is there a way to make a strong recommendation? Cause like, for example, I look at the lot next to mine, which is not maintained, we have a plethora of issues, but, tons of steps, I mean, like we make some kind of, and I'm not saying like
I think
beat
there's,
cops about
there's a
lawns, but
general,
like,
there's a general,
Contact Alan.
yeah, that's right, yeah, Alan.
but is
compliance
that
guy.
a rule?
I think the
You
ACC,
must
they're-
maintain your
Yes,
sticks and your
well,
flammable.
it needs to be,
Yep,
it's
contact
supposed to
Alan.
be,
He will go out and take a
kept
look
up,
at it and write, he'll write people up.
But, right,
Not
but what is the rule? I'm
necessarily
asking you, do you know what the
you know,
rule
it's
is?
in,
I don't
it's
think
in
there's a-
ACC.
that you can't have like sticks and things on the
Pretty
forest
sure,
floor.
I'm pretty sure
I'm
that's
pretty
correct.
sure Alan is right in line with that,
Okay,
the compliance
Okay.
manager.
okay,
Need to go on,
Yep.
with our agenda. So, so I'm learning that Matt was in. Share with us, those of you who attended, to those of us who did not, what was accomplished there.
From my standpoint, it was attended Michael Bennett and Mitch Knowles, Judy, Debbie, and myself.
Mhm.
And what, without Matt being there, the main purpose of the meeting really didn't come together.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah. So,
Mitch has his plans, he advises to what they're working on. But
yeah.
it wasn't real,
Schedule?
not that I heard.
Okay, so,
I think we were successful in fostering a better relationship with Mitch. Call us.
Oh, yeah, Mitch is a great guy, that's with Michael.
Michael had to leave after the hour, and Mitch hung in there for another, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and it was interesting. He, for example, with the idea of gates 1 and 2, what he and Michael both, he said it, Mitch said it, Michael seemed to not refute it, that the people, if the gate 2 is blocked, go across the golf course
yeah,
to gate 1. And he said, people are gonna do that anyway.
Right.
You might as well make it officially okay, but only in emergencies.
yeah,
And the same with 1 going to 2. He said, it's just gonna happen, that's the way it is, so we don't need, their thought was we didn't need to add like an emergency exit down to Older Lane
yeah, I agree.
because of that. The problem
I think
is,
it'd be problematic.
well, and the problem
because
is
of
the people
weather.
at the north end, can everybody in gate 1 get to the golf course? Is that a given? Because I don't know all the ins and outs of gate 1.
Well, if there's a tree that falls across the road, a lot of loopy roads, so you can go around one way or the other.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
bomb cyclone knocks down a bunch of trees over a bunch of
Don't
roads,
go to
it's
the
like,
lake.
oh my word.
It's pretty much a given.
For fires, yeah, not on the lake,
For
because all the
fire,
smoke
stay away from
cells
the
in
lake.
there.
So that works for people near the golf course,
Yeah,
but it doesn't work for the people like way up high in gate 2.
Or across the street.
Apparently there's a gate that goes to the Firs, but it's
Yeah.
locked.
Yeah.
And so if we could come up with a way to
Whose
let
gate- is
people
that our
out
gate
there
or
get
First
out.
gate? Who owns the gate?
I don't know who owns the gate. Might be the Firs, I might be
If it's
us.
our
Mitch
gate.
I just
did kind
don't
of
know.
address
I've never
because
found-
I don't care who owns the gate.
Yeah.
We'll have to change.
Yeah, that's right.
I've never
Exactly.
seen it, so I don't know.
We'll deal with the legal ramifications later, I
Yeah.
don't care.
Ask for
Yeah.
forgiveness later, right?
Yeah, better to ask for forgiveness than
Yeah.
permission.
Yeah.
Will you emphasize that in your introductory speech, that because people are very concerned about, that we are in the exploration process with the entities?
We are looking at it,
Yeah,
and then we're trying to come up with some,
because it needs to be like common knowledge that the association is actively
it's
like
not being
participating.
ignored.
Yeah.
It's not
Okay,
being
so
ignored.
let's see.
We have some extreme challenges.
So I think it was actually Daniel who arranged Matt to come meet with us.
Yeah, it was
maybe
just
I'll,
unfortunate they had that.
yeah, yeah,
Michael said that based on his previous experience in, is it Sun Valley community that he was a part of, that given the maps that we have, that they could in fact do an overlay of different routes throughout gates 1 and 2 and suggest to people, actually create a mapping system that
Yeah.
just said, you know, red or blue or anything like that, so people would know in an emergency, being able to move in that direction.
Yeah, I get concerned when I hear gate 1 can get out this way, gate 2 can get out this way. Because the general feeling in this entire community is gates 1 and 2 get all the services.
Yeah,
We're not considering these people. And that has to change.
yeah. The hairier part's gate 5, right? I mean,
Gate
not that,
5,
not that,
Oh, my word, yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's,
So as far as I'm concerned, this is the gates we need to focus on.
Yeah,
I'll get out. I don't care what happens, I'm getting out of here.
and the gate 5 entrance we're not blocking the entrance into gate 28. I'm asking if the associate, there used to be
In the
like,
wintertime, it's blocked
Yeah.
because of,
but right now, like,
it's open now.
okay,
Yeah.
Which is the main time it needs to be open.
yeah.
has anybody driven down that road? I was a little anxious when I
I've
even
been on the
tried.
path.
I've been on the past,
Yeah.
It's
Is it-
maybe, it's very steep.
Very
Yeah.
steep.
And when we're differentiating these routes by this overlay, can we, you know, this is a pedestrian route, for example, like you could walk over, there's a footpath here and here. This is if you're trying to get out by foot. This is if, right, because if we have a traffic jam, we need to know what the options are. Or that road is all-wheel drive. Like, we just need to say, like, this is a
That's
hard
really the
road,
concern,
you're
is
gonna need.
people without the proper type of vehicles are gonna get on these roads.
So if we're making lists, this is a whatever
Nobody's-
color coded,
Nobody's gonna think about that, though.
Yeah.
I want out.
And the other thing is, you know, we can have all these plans, red, blue, green, yellow, whatever, but if there's a tree or a whatever that knocks out that road,
Or the fires.
we gotta be able to
coming from
find
this
out,
direction.
that information has to be
Fires
shared.
coming
I think that's where the radio will come in helpful.
Yeah.
And
But
AM 610.
I really think, I really think, we need to have another meeting with Matt.
And
Yeah,
Mike,
totally agree.
Michael Bennett is very supportive of that.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's gonna be a problem as soon as we have a location.
My sense was that Mitch was feeling that we are not gonna have a community-wide fire issue.
Event,
No, earthquake, that's
It'll be
another thing, but
localized to one
yeah, he
gate
thought it
or
would be
two.
localized, maybe 100 to 200 families
Yeah.
in an area, and he didn't, his concern is that people are going to panic and everybody's
Plug up the
trying to get
roads,
out.
right, yeah.
And the people who need to get out can't get out, the people who need to get in can't get in.
Yeah.
So I get that, because he said our kind of forest, it makes it kind of more of a slow-moving forest. But that doesn't count high wind days, that doesn't count if it's in the ground, I mean, you know, at best situation would be that, the north end of gate 3 needs to get out.
Yeah.
And the rest don't, because we'll give you plenty of warning, but yet,
Yeah.
if it's a windy day, all bets are off, so who knows? But we just don't know what to expect.
There's just too many variables.
Yeah, he was talking hopefully and likely, that's how it would be. But it could be the other way, it could be worst case, so we just
Yeah.
don't know. But he made an interesting comment, he said that, remember about the heading to Fred Meyer, he said if they did a study to show how long it would take to get 2,000 cars, which would be about a third of our cars, right? From Sun Valley to Fred Meyer, can you imagine how long it was gonna take?
Oh, my word, yeah. Well,
2.5 hours to get 2,000 cars
it's a,
that far. He said, and that's with all the help and, you know, that's with everything going right. And so they're concerned about too many cars on the road, and that's part of their issue as we address this.
And coordinating the ham radio announcements very carefully
right.
and saying in gate 3, stay put, use this exit, that kind of thing.
The ready, set, go idea.
Yeah, the ready, set,
You're
go.
ready, you're set, but you don't go until we let you know, because you're gonna mess up everybody else who's gotta go. And so, they said that he could actually, he would send in the information to somebody at the command center
Yeah.
who actually has maps and can say, between this street and that street and that street, we'll notify them with, the alert sense, I guess. So,
Yeah, I'm surprised at how many people have signed up for that. I signed up for it and then realized was notified I was already signed up.
It's called the alert sense.
Alert sense.
Yeah.
Alert
We'll
sense.
hear more about that on Monday.
And you
Yeah.
can select.
There were
what
the
you wanna
QR
do.
codes in the
Amber
last use.
Flyers,
Okay.
whatever, you know, whatever.
One good thing that came out of the meeting, I thought, from Michael, was having his experience at, I think he called it Suncadia.
Yeah.
And I looked at their website, he says it's got a lot of useful information, and they really, really do. They've got a lot of good stuff that we could use. He was gonna send a link to somebody, did anybody get it? Because I didn't get it, did you get it?
I didn't know.
Okay, so I'll kind of ask him more about if he could find a way that we can put that information, but the information they have is, I think, public government stuff, so we should be able to just use it, but I'll
yeah.
talk to him about that. So, and it's great, there's somebody brought up about Google Pro creating our own maps, the hiking maps. Do you remember that conversation? I got a
I
little
remember,
confused.
I think Michael said he used Google Pro. I don't have Google Pro. I have
Okay.
Google.
And he said he used some hiking maps to create maps. So, but I got lost there in my notes later.
Can we keep
Don't remember.
those QR codes in the views? Like until fire season? Can you
Yeah, I
let
don't
us-
know why not, I mean,
It's just, it takes like 10 touches for people to act. They may not be signing up. And we can check in with them, the state will know how.
takes
Well-
10 touches?
So, points of contact, ads. Like you see something, like how many
Oh, I
times
see
you are
what you're
in
saying.
contact
Yeah,
with information before
Exposures.
you engage,
exposures, yeah.
right? And so we need as many times as possible for people to sign up for the things that were in, you just mentioned were in the views. And if we could have that happen through fire season,
Yeah, probably another, another article in the views, maybe referencing the Herald one and whatever the other article that was, mentioned. I'm gonna make a note.
and they can tell us how many of our residents are signed up.
Okay, good to
So
know.
we can look from where we started at the wildfire, we know what that number was, and we can look at, with our efforts, how many more people have signed up.
So you're talking about alert sense?
Yeah.
Well,
300.
it's only 300.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm saying we have that number, and now we can look at, if we keep putting it out there, we can gather, like, are we effectively communicating?
Yeah.
Are people signing up?
Are we
Right?
generating action?
I believe that's part of the Monday presentation, that they're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, it's a good app, it really is. They've notified me several times on different things.
I would like to share that I noticed that Sun Valley Drive has the yellow line has been
Yeah.
redone.
Yeah.
And wow, that is such a help. And I,
Woodward,
you know,
man, I love it.
and so we just gotta keep up the idea of marking our exits clearly. So we'll just keep working on that one. And I'm wondering if that gate 28, if that should have a yellow line. So if it's smoky, people can watch the line and get down if they have to. Somehow, some way to
Yeah, so
give
the
people a little help if they have to use it.
paving contract was for primary roads.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
I don't think.
but that one might be a good emergency exit help
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, that's a treacherous road. Okay, and.
Yeah, it's not like, you couldn't turn around on it.
No. Okay.
So Daniel will be asked to set up a meeting with Matt Klein again.
Yes, I'll reach out to him, and the reason we pushed for that date so soon was Matt's limitations. His schedule is just crammed, I guess, and so it's more we're at his kind of beck and call when he can make time for us. And I wonder if he's just gonna be slammed into the
That
summer.
upstairs conference room, I guess is good in a quickie situation, but
Yeah,
it's really not big enough if too many people.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It's
Exactly.
true.
But again, it was a last minute thing, we're kind of trying to find a space. Okay, so we're trying to get the other
If
sense.
anyone's interested in certifying, there's a new cycle happening in Linden. You can
Yeah,
sign up.
and,
Oh, right.
CERT training,
Yeah, and I just pinged, I know this is separate, but we have a lot of certified folks here.
yeah,
At the last meeting, they wanted to refresh, you see our little trailer? Our
yeah,
little trailer has not been looked at in a very long time. So it is highly likely that if we go to utilize or need that trailer, that there are things. That's correct. So I just pinged Doug and asked him, like, where's the funding come from? We talked about this the last meeting. Are we gonna refresh it? Can we look at what's expired? It's sat in heat and cold and like for years,
Somebody
right?
with knowledge of CERT, like yourself, would have to examine.
Well, no, like, I'll let the certified, there's a whole group here in Sun Valley. It would take them to Kathleen, everybody knows, right? Let them go and examine it, but we really need to address that. So I just wanna let you know, as a committee, like, I just asked Doug, like, when is that gonna happen? Does Sun Valley need to participate in the costs, or is this state funded? Is it CERT funded? Like, who's funding if we need to refresh that? Cause that is our only stockpile, other than what's in the fire, which is
I'm kind of thinking
not
city,
right. Like, say, hey, like CERT's really short funded. Yes.
we should,
Here,
We really, so
and you put out something with a request, yeah.
informal, but it would be more effective if the association would put out just a feeler somehow, however you wanna do
Well,
it.
you did that though, did you?
Well, I just put it on social media, just as an individual, right?
it's important, but I'm thinking it would be better to wait until the fire station reopens so that we can have the training right here.
No, we already had one last year. We had a CERT training right up here in the barn, it was perfect.
Oh, really?
Yes, we had over 20 people go through there, and yes, so that barn was perfect, it was set up, it was facilitated. We had an emergency staff come in, like the Chief Knowles had the fire truck, and like in our active practice at the very end, right, where and we had volunteers from Sun Valley, the CERT certified, they pretended, they were the ones who were the injured, et cetera, and we went through the whole exercise around the barn. It was perfect. It was a great, so the thing is, to ask Doug and to talk to CERT and say, come back, we need to have some level of interest, right? And so I can take my informal, I'm just a person, who am I? Like putting something on social media, but my reach is like this big. If the association says,
we
hey
could
guys,
try to put in a request of interest for CERT training and the views. There's the meeting coming out in July, we just ask,
yeah. If we can say we have 50 people interested.
Because I think with Michael, when we brought that up at the board level with Michael, he said, well, you got a list of 20 people? I can request it, and you give me a list of 20 people.
Great.
We'll work on it, but
I'll get a list
we
of
don't
20
have a
people.
list, so we could try
Okay.
to procure a list by
Yes.
soliciting in the views, maybe.
Yeah,
I'll see.
Well, somebody needs to be the focus to get all that information. I mean, somebody needs to be
yeah, somebody on
in
staff
charge of,
when it comes in.
because some people are gonna wanna only get info from social media, some only from the
Yes.
views, some only this and that, and I need someone to take charge of that issue. But I keep getting questions about, are you having it? When is it happening? I don't know. I mean, somebody hears that there's a rumor that it's starting and they wanna join, and, I'm going, I don't know
We
anything
just
about
need
it.
it, I can gather some things from here, right? So I can just print out I can look at whoever said yes, right, on the survey and hand it over. I'm sure we can get at least 20 people interested. And the barn was ideal because of the structural aspect of the CERT training, right? You have to assess the structure, and it was like a really great way, I mean, even though we're pretending, it was a great structure to practice on because it's so varying. So.
Not pretending.
Well, you know, I mean, it was a really great exercise, you guys, and there was a lot of energy, and a lot of those people are all the way through and got their safety, because you have to do a couple of FEMA courses and then your state certified emergency worker. The more we have of that here, the better.
Absolutely. Would you be interested in being the point person
Yeah, yeah.
okay, sweet.
Then I will make that too.
And kind of one last thing, at the board meeting on the 12th, first time since I've been at a board meeting, we had an outstanding member attendance.
Yes, I saw,
And
yeah.
it was really, really appreciated.
Yeah.
And I got several comments on Facebook. And I tried to put the message out that, you know, the directors and the general manager don't follow Facebook. So and I tried not to use the word complaining that happens here.
So I tell them, I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Discussion.
It's not gonna do any good. What does good is what happened on the 12th.
That's right,
Then it's on the record. Bring your concerns, it's the only way we're gonna hear
yeah.
it. So you're a good social media influencer. If you
Yay.
can continue that message.
Awesome.
I mean, I was blown away.
I wasn't
blown
trying
away.
to be rude, I was just like, this is not gonna go anywhere, this is where you need to take this.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, emails are okay, but
But
it's
actually
not
showing-
being there in person
Yeah.
and being on video and having your comments registered, that's what's gonna get attention.
Yay.
Yeah, and I thank the community for doing that. I was so appreciative.
Good to know.
So as a key contact for the CERT, do you want to, how do you want to be
If we
contacted?
could just ask people, if you could just use that replymail.k@gmail, that's a great place for it to go, but,
I'm sorry,
it's what you have on file, it's where you send
for
it.
your email?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can send me my
Okay.
email.
I just want to make a note of
That's for those
how you
purposes.
prefer to be contacted, okay.
There should be one that's like a generic name, not my full, you guys have a couple, but the one that you send most of my correspondence to is a generic reply mail account. But if I can get Doug, I'm asking him, I haven't gotten a response, but what are the pathways, how do we get you back here? Right, how do we get on your schedule for training? We have a lot of interest, and if you need me to, so we can gather, we can say, hey, we have at least this many people who've expressed interest. I think it's a no-brainer, he'll be back, they wanna be here.
Good, that would be great. I think there has been interest expressed.
Great.
And Greg was one of our trainers, so, yeah.
Cool. Okay, so last thing on our agenda is conversation about future projects, activities, recommendations, ideas. So one is to make a request of the board to make the safety committee more permanent.
Yeah.
Making a bylaws change is really cumbersome. I think if we can, so we'll have to.
Can we just
talk
put it
to
on
Jeff.
the ballot?
Well, that's what would be required
Yeah.
to get a bylaws change, but you need. So we. Get Matt back, as far as evacuation plan. And after the fire station is back and up and running, we have a radio, ham radio, and all the uses that it can be utilized for. Everything from regular announcements by the day or week, and then emergency ones as well.
Now, as far as getting the safety committee off the ad hoc committee list and onto a sanctioned committee is up to us and by making ourselves seen in the community.
That's right,
And that's happening.
yeah.
We are getting a lot of positive.
Exciting. So this year,
And the, like, what we're working on.
Yes,
Long list now.
hybrid voting, yeah.
yeah, hybrid voting. It worked great. It really did. It's so simple.
Yeah.
We elected Jim Beam as the president of the.
Oh, I would have voted for Daniels, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, the big important part is the community feels heard and that
Yeah, exactly.
the board is interested in working for. Work on. That's a good thing. That the association has would be even
Really
better.
only go out in an e-blast, really.
Yeah, that would be the quickest, and
Yeah.
then we need to have, they could just reply to our committee email.
Yeah,
We are
Yeah, we
gonna do
could all do
the map your neighborhood, right?
That's right, that was another one,
I
right?
thought that was the third in our series.
well, just more so like the association has not put out a whole lot of like, what do you think is the community? And I know we're saying, what are the topics we wanna work on, right? But we're just a few people. And so I feel that even just the gesture of like, what are you worried about is very, very important. Like,
Yeah, my personal opinion on map your neighborhood was really important. I think the way my neighborhood kind of does it's good. But to have a community meeting in the barn or something for workshops, I just don't think it'll be attended.
Yeah,
I don't see that. being a
I think
positive
it will be a
experience.
challenge. I think unless the presenter at this go-bag thing can really make a strong case for it.
Yeah,
That's
I can bring it up.
part of the, well,
I can do that.
I think that, my understanding it was gonna be part of the presentation.
Okay.
The map your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Is
And
it?
toward the end.
Yes.
He's gonna initiate the conversation and just describe it and see if there's interest
Okay.
from the people
Is he
attending.
gonna
That would
bring
be
the
good,
booklets?
see
Some
what
of the
kind of
booklets we don't know
interest
about,
there
right?
is.
Sorry?
Just-
Is he allowed to bring the booklets?
I think
I mean, I
would be
know this isn't
ideal.
in the city. Like,
Is
I don't know.
are you in contact with them?
folks could be
You mean
encouraged
with
within
him
their own
that
neighborhoods to identify
map
somebody who
neighborhood.
would be willing to go and participate in a facilitator training. So we don't have to do a community-wide presentation, but if within the neighborhood an important, I think it's an ideal follow-up to the go-bag.
Yeah, so yeah, hopefully he'll have some good ideas of how we can effectively draw maybe representatives from areas, and then I guess trying to identify how large or small, how compact of a group does it need to be, or how expansive of the group can it be and still be effective?
You know, if I get the opportunity, I could talk about the way our neighborhood does it. Because we have an annual block party, And I was planning on bringing that into the discussion this year.
Mm-hmm.
So we get together once a year already, in a potluck. And we're all talking, be real easy,
Mm-hmm.
because we already know each other. And that's the easy part, is getting to know your neighbors well enough to.
He does have guide, he'll have recommendations. There's a number that he throws out in terms of ideal amount of homes, et cetera. Like our neighborhood, when I moved in 2020, there was apparently a block party every year, but it fell apart because people moved out, right? So
Yeah,
it's-
turnover, yeah.
like that doesn't
No.
exist anymore, and like I know my neighbors, but like, so it's good to give an example of how your neighborhood does it and offer out like your neighborhood may do it differently, right?
And it's fun.
There's,
Yeah.
We have a great time.
yeah, I'm just thinking if our committee is intentional about providing the tools, then we can use the tools generated by Greg and Amy to get it out there to community, so that you wouldn't necessarily just be the person to talk to your neighbors if you're already socializing with them, but using the tools that they have to physically map out your neighborhood and identify within each household, and they talk about maybe 15 households, 30 being too many, but they have a training that they.
How many of us have done the training?
I've watched the
The-
videos and
But like
I-
the training with Greg, has anybody sat with done the?
He gave me handouts. I attended a meeting that I am a part of in the community, and I handed out some of the tools.
Yeah.
And some of the discussion guides, but they're very concrete and very instrumental.
Yeah.
I just think that, I think it would be a valuable next step. If we don't have a whole lot of people attending,
Leadership
we at
training.
least have a start.
Yeah, leadership training would be good.
Yep.
Everybody loves parties.
Well, I hope Monday will spark some interest there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really, I think, key, to engage some folks.
When's the next e-blast going up prior to Monday? Tomorrow? Are they gonna do
Tomorrow.
one?
It'll go
They're
tomorrow.
gonna go-
Yeah,
they're
it'll
gonna
go
throw it out?
tomorrow.
Okay.
do you know how we're gonna get the Zoom information and when? Because I need to get that on social media once that comes out.
Do you know that, Spencer? The Zoom for the Monday night, do you set that up, or?
Yeah, I can get it set up before then. I'll have it set up by tomorrow, so people have the weekend to,
Awesome.
Yeah, if we could get that in the e-blast.
That'd be wonderful.
Yeah, I can talk to him
Talk to
tomorrow about that.
Max or-
Yeah,
Great.
definitely.
Oh,
Yeah,
That
that's
would
so
be
good.
awesome, yeah.
Perfect. Really, there's just
You gotta
no
have
way to
it.
do it. We don't have any members except people who aren't allowed to post.
Well, you had a post on there.
I've never been on Connections. I don't know anything about it.
There was a post on Sun Valley Connection from you.
From
Think
me?
about the go-bag.
Somebody,
Well, see, I can't
they
even
could have
see
copied, they could
somebody
have
must have
copied it
tagged
in
it.
that.
Yeah,
seminar.
Yeah, cut and paste probably, okay.
But you got there.
How many of the gates and neighborhoods do we have represented here?
I'm 913.
913,
I'm
Judy's
9.
3, right? You're 3, gate 3,
3.
and we're 1, and you're 9. So if we were able to identify 2 or 3 other people who would be willing to come together and participate in a training representing other neighborhoods, whether they're
5 and
friends
3
or neighbors or whatever,
Yeah.
yeah.
We could put out a call for like 5, gate 5 or gate 3, because those are the more complicated, at least 5 anyway.
Yeah.
The most complicated, I think.
Cool, very good.
Yeah,
We got a lot done
we
today.
did.
Thank you all. So we will hopefully see everybody Monday night.
Yeah. Hey,
I
Yeah,
can come a little early if you need anybody else to help set up.
Yeah, I may be
I'm
bringing
taking my
a
son
neighbor,
to catch
but
his flight to
you know,
Japan
I'm
on
sure she'll be
Monday.
all right. to come over.
Remember we told you he was planning to get?
Adjourned.
Did you bring that?
yeah, so we'll call the meeting
Oh, gosh,
adjourned
what-
at
remind me what-
3:52.